Why do the strongest souls always go through the most toxic families? Why exactly you, who feels the world so deeply, who carries this powerful intuition, had to grow up amidst chaos, misunderstanding, and rejection? If you feel like the black sheep of the family, if you were always seen as the problem, if your sensitivity was constantly attacked, this video will reveal a truth that will change everything in your life. Because this pain wasn't accidental. It was your spiritual awakening being forged in the fire of adversity. You know this feeling. Entering your home and feeling your chest tighten. Hearing phrases like, "You're so dramatic." Stop with that exaggerated sensitivity. Why can't you be normal? Feeling that your very essence was a constant annoyance to those who should love you unconditionally. You struggled for years trying to mold yourself, trying to be accepted, trying to prove that you deserved love. And the more you tried, the more you lost yourself. Know one thing. This video reaching you is not a coincidence. It's the universe saying, the time for your truth has come. What if I told you that this pain you carry wasn't a punishment from the heavens? What if I revealed to you that this toxic family environment wasn't your final destiny, but rather your most sacred training ground? According to the genius of psychology Carl Jung, this journey through family chaos is not a curse. It's the beginning of your individuation. It's the sacred process of you becoming who you truly came to be in this world. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's name the common enemy we all face. Toxic family dynamics. Home. This word should evoke safety, welcome, unconditional love. But for many of us, it evokes something completely different. It evokes an emotional minefield, where every step was calculated, every word weighed, every expression of authenticity punished. Perhaps you recognize these patterns. The mother who loved you conditionally, only when you met her expectations. The father who constantly criticized you, always pointing out what was wrong with you. The siblings who rejected you for being too different. Or perhaps it was more subtle. The icy silence when you expressed your own opinion. The forced smile when you shared your dream. The constant invalidation of your intuition with phrases like, "You're imagining things," or "You're so dramatic." And you fought, didn't you? Fought to be seen for who you really are. Fought to be heard when your soul cried out for understanding. Fought to be loved for your authenticity, not for the molded version they tried to impose on you. You contorted yourself trying to fit into a mold that simply wasn't yours. And the more you tried, the more it hurt. The more you strived to be accepted, the more you lost yourself. But here's the truth that no one told you. The truth that will completely change how you see your story. The strong soul does not evolve in comfort. It is not forged in ease. It needs friction. It needs resistance. It needs challenges that force it to discover internal resources it didn't even know it possessed. Think of a spiritual gym. You don't develop muscles by lifting styrofoam weights. You develop muscles by facing real resistance, real weight, real challenge. The same happens with the soul. A sword is not sharpened by being caressed on a silk pillow. It is sharpened against the hardest, roughest, most relentless stone. Each stroke against the stone removes impurities, reveals the pure metal, creates the cutting edge. Your family was that stone. Painful? Without a doubt. Rough? Certainly. But essential? Absolutely essential to reveal the powerful blade you carry within. Each no you heard taught you to find the yes within yourself. Each rejection forced you to develop unshakable internal approval. Each attempt to control you forced you to discover your personal sovereignty. You weren't placed in that family by chance. You were strategically positioned there by the universe because you were the only soul strong enough to transmute all that darkness into light. You were the only one with enough power to interrupt cycles of pain that had been repeating for generations. And this isn't just a beautiful theory or poetic consolation. This has deep scientific, psychological, and philosophical basis. Let me show you exactly how the greatest thinkers of humanity explain this phenomenon. Now let me explain what really happened in your family through the lens of depth psychology. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, discovered something revolutionary about dysfunctional families. Jung called shadow everything a person or family doesn't want to recognize about itself. These are unresolved traumas, denied painful truths, toxic patterns they refuse to see. Every family carries a collective shadow. And here's the crucial point. This shadow needs to go somewhere. It doesn't simply disappear. So, unconsciously, the family chooses one member to carry all this darkness. This member becomes the scapegoat, the black sheep. You weren't the problem. You were the mirror reflecting the shadow that no one else in the family had the courage to face. While everyone pointed their finger at you, they were actually running away from their own unresolved issues. But here's what Jung discovered most profoundly. You weren't chosen for this mission because you were weak or problematic. You were chosen because you were the only one strong enough to, one day, transmute it. You were the only one with a soul powerful enough to transform all this darkness into light. According to Jung, this process of carrying and transmuting the family shadow is an essential part of your individuation. The process of becoming who you really are, free from the projections and expectations of others. This discovery of Jung finds a powerful echo in the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche, one of humanity's most revolutionary thinkers. Nietzsche declared a truth that echoes through the centuries. What does not destroy me, strengthens me. But Nietzsche went further. He spoke about the Ubermensch, which we can translate as Superman or Beyond Man. This is not about a physically superior person, but someone who has transcended the limitations imposed by society and family. The Ubermensch is one who has gone through the fire of suffering and emerged not as a victim, but as a creator of their own values. It is someone who no longer accepts the toxic patterns imposed on them, but forges their own path based on their inner truth. And you know what this means? It means that your journey through the toxic family was not an accident. It was your training school to become a beyond man. It was your training to transcend the limitations they tried to impose on you. Nietzsche also taught us about amor fati, literally, love of fate. This doesn't mean you should like the suffering you went through. It means radically accepting that each wound, each tear, each moment of rejection was the chisel that sculpted the work of art you are becoming. Amor fati is looking at your history and saying, I wouldn't change anything, because each pain brought me here. Each challenge forged me. Each attempt to break me only revealed the diamond I am inside. You are not a victim of your past. You are an Ubermensch in formation, someone who transformed the lead of suffering into the gold of wisdom. And that, my friend, is the greatest power there is. Now, I'm going to show you something that will leave you jaw-dropped. But before that, if you're feeling that this content is touching your soul, leave your like. This helps this message reach other people who need to hear this truth. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next content about spiritual awakening and personal transformation. Now, I'll reveal the exact alchemy that happened in your soul during these years of suffering. How each wound transformed into power, each pain into wisdom. The ancient alchemists dreamed of turning lead into gold, but you accomplished something much more extraordinary. You transformed trauma into transcendence. And this didn't happen by chance. It was a sacred process, a transformation that only special souls can achieve. Let me show you this transmutation, step by step, so you understand the miracle that you are. First, transmutation. From rejection to unconditional self-love. The rejection you suffered, each no, each door slammed in your face, each time they made you feel you weren't enough, forced you to seek a source of unconditional love within yourself and in the divine. While people who were always accepted eternally depend on external validation, living as emotional beggars pleading for crumbs of approval, you developed an inexhaustible internal source of self-love. You learned to sustain yourself emotionally, to be your own safe harbor. Today, when someone rejects you, it's not the end of the world. It's just an incompatibility. Because you no longer need anyone to complete you. You are already complete. Second, transmutation, from invalidation to sovereign intuition. Each time they invalidated your intuition with phrases like, "You're imagining things," "You're too sensitive," "It's all in your head," something extraordinary happened. Your intuition strengthened like a spiritual muscle exercised against resistance. You were forced to trust your inner voice above any external noise. While others got lost following others' opinions, you developed a sacred internal compass that never deceives you. Today your intuition is so sharp that you can perceive lies from miles away. You feel people's energy before they even speak. You anticipate situations and avoid traps that others easily fall into. Third transmutation. From control to absolute sovereignty. Each attempt to control you, to mold you according to their will, to diminish you to keep you under dominion, forged in you an unshakable sovereignty. You learned that no one has the right to invade your sacred inner territory. You developed healthy boundaries like the walls of a castle. You know exactly where you end and where the other begins. No one can manipulate you anymore because you recognize all the tactics. After all, you grew up among masters of manipulation. Today, you are the one and true emperor of your inner world. Your emotions, your thoughts, your decisions. All of this is your exclusive domain. Fourth transmutation. From cruelty to pure empathy. The cruelty you witnessed and felt firsthand taught you the deepest and truest empathy that exists. You know pain from the inside out, so when you see someone suffering, your compassion isn't theoretical. It's visceral, real, transformative. You became a natural healer. People feel safe beside you because they know you understand. You won't judge them. You won't minimize their pain. You won't give empty advice. You offer real presence, genuine understanding. Your empathy isn't weakness. It's a superpower. You can connect with others at a level that those who have always lived in comfort will never reach. Fifth transmutation. From breaking to indestructibility. Each time they tried to break you and you resisted, you discovered layers of resilience you didn't even know you possessed. You became like a diamond, only formed under extreme pressure, but once formed, practically indestructible. You developed a silent strength, a capacity to face storms that makes others run for shelter. Not because you don't feel fear, but because you've learned to dance with it. Sixth transmutation. From loneliness to inner fullness. The moments of deep loneliness, when you felt misunderstood by everyone, taught you something precious. How to find fullness within yourself. You learned to be good company for yourself. Today you're not afraid to be alone because you've discovered that you're never truly alone. You have a rich relationship with yourself, with your soul, with the divine. Solitude isn't punishment, it's sanctuary. Seventh transmutation. From fear to spiritual courage. All the fear you felt, fear of speaking, fear of being authentic, fear of disappointing, forced you to develop a courage that comes from within. Not the courage of someone who has never been afraid, but the courage of someone who feels fear and acts anyway. You became brave enough to be authentic in a world that punishes authenticity. Brave enough to establish boundaries in a family that didn't respect boundaries. Brave enough to seek truth in an environment of lies. The birth of your spiritual immunity. This painful but sacred alchemical process created something extraordinary in you, what we can call spiritual immunity. It's as if your soul developed antibodies against all forms of manipulation, control, and toxicity. Your spiritual immunity works like this. When someone tries to manipulate you, you recognize it instantly because you already know all the games. When they try to diminish you, you remain firm in your truth because your self-esteem no longer depends on others' opinions. When they try to control you, you simply don't allow entry because your boundaries are unbreakable. You've become impervious to attempts to hurt you, not because you don't feel, you feel deeply, but because you've developed a wisdom that transforms each attack into teaching, each wound into strength. And here's the most beautiful paradox. Precisely because you no longer need external validation, you've become magnetically attractive to healthy people. Your authenticity, your silent strength, Your inner peace radiate an energy that attracts like a magnet those who recognize real value. Toxic people naturally move away from you because they can no longer affect you. And healthy people approach because they feel your emotional stability, your wisdom, your capacity to love without losing yourself. You've become a beacon, not because you seek attention, but because your inner light is so strong that it's impossible to ignore. Others who are still navigating the storm see your light and know it's possible to reach safe harbor. This is your personal alchemy. You transformed the worst that happened to you into the best you have to offer the world. Each scar became wisdom. Each tear became compassion. Each moment of darkness became light for others. Now I'm going to reveal something that will forever change the way you see your mission in this life. Get ready, because this is profound. Understand this. You are not just a survivor. You are a pattern interrupter. You were strategically placed in this family system to be the end point of cycles of pain that have been transmitted for generations. Think about it. Your grandmother probably passed traumas to your mother. Your mother tried to pass these same patterns to you. But something extraordinary happened. You said no. You broke the chain. The ancestral wound that reaches you stops here. It will not be passed on. Not because you are weak, but because you are too strong to perpetuate the cycle. This is your sacred mission. This is your ancestral power. You carry within you the strength of all your ancestors who dreamed of freedom, but didn't have the courage to break the chains. You are the answer to prayers they didn't even know they were making. When you heal your wounds, you are healing your entire lineage. When you free yourself from toxic patterns, you are freeing future generations. You are the link that transforms a chain of pain into a chain of healing. Now I want you to completely change how you see yourself. The black sheep is not the rejected one. The black sheep is, in fact, the pioneer. It's the one who has the courage to leave the flock to find a new path. While everyone blindly followed toxic family patterns, you were the only one who said, "No, there has to be a better way to live. There has to be more love, more truth, more consciousness." And you set out to find it. You are not a victim of your family's history. You are the author of a new paradigm. You are writing a new chapter in your lineage's history, a chapter of healing, consciousness, and love. Pioneers always face resistance. They are always misunderstood at first. But they are the ones who open new paths for others to follow. You are pioneering a territory of consciousness that your family has never explored. And you know what will happen? In a few years, some members of your family will begin to awaken. And they will look at you and think, how did they do it? How did they know? Because you were the first to find the way out of the labyrinth. Therefore, I want you to understand something fundamental about your journey. You are not broken. You are being forged. You are not lost. You are awakening to who you truly came to be in this world. Your pain was not meaningless. It was your spiritual initiation. Just as ancient warriors went through sacred rituals to become adults, you went through the fire of the toxic family to become a warrior of light. Your family was your first spiritual battlefield, and you not only survived, you won. You emerged stronger, wiser, more compassionate. You became exactly what the world needs. Each tear you shed watered the soil where your wisdom flourished. Each wound you carried transformed into a gateway to compassion. Each moment of loneliness taught you to find fullness within yourself. Now the time for your true mission has come. The world is waiting for the gifts you forged in the furnace of suffering. The deep empathy, the unshakable strength, the wisdom conquered with blood, sweat, and tears. This is exactly the medicine that others need. There are millions of people still trapped in the same patterns from which you freed yourself. They are looking around, searching for someone who understands, someone who has been through it and found the way out. They are looking for you. The world doesn't need one more perfect person who has never suffered. The world needs someone real, authentic, who knows pain and has found healing. The world needs a wounded healer who has become a master. If you've made it this far and feel that this message was written especially for you, show it with your like. Each light confirms to me that there is one more brave soul recognizing their own power. You were forged in the flames of adversity to shine like a star in others' darkness. Your light is not common. It's a special light, born from the transmutation of pain into power. To continue receiving content that celebrates your inner strength and honors your healing journey, subscribe to this channel. Here we create a community of souls who have chosen to transform wounds into wisdom. The world has been waiting for you, not for the person they tried to mold you into, but for the powerful and authentic soul you were destined to be from day one. Tell me in the comments, what was the moment when you realized that your pain had a greater purpose? Your experience can illuminate the path of someone who is still discovering their own spiritual alchemy. Thank you, and until the next video.